Which actor was perfectly selected for his or her respective role in a film? John Hamm as Don Draper. Most of the Mad Men cast was so perfect. Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins. Arnold Schwarzenegger the Terminator. Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. Joe Pesci in My Cousin Vinny. J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man. Jeff Bridges as the Dude. Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride. Donald Sutherland as President Snow. It's really rare that someone gets ripped from the pages of a book like that, I think. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Patrick Stewart as Professor Charles Xavier. Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl in Popeye 1980. Christoph Waltz as Hans Landa. Nobody else could have played that role. Sir Ian McKellen as Gandalf. Anton Yelchin Odd Thomas. Robert Patrick as the T-1000. Gary Oldman in everything he has ever been in. The entire crew of Green Mile. Robin Williams as the genie in Aladdin. Heath Ledger. Dark Knight. Andrew Lincoln for Rick Grimes. Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch. Maggie Smith as Professor McGonagall. Also Imelda Staunton as Umbridge. TV Game of Thrones. Jake Gleason as Joffrey Baratheon. Bryan Cranston as Walter White. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday in Tombstone. Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Spock. By far, the whole The Lord of the Rings cast. Sigourney Weaver. Ellen Ripley. Kathy Bates in Misery. James Gandolfini as Tony Soprano. The way that he could instantly change from an affable one of the guys to a flat-out ruthless killer was incredible. His face would transform and the way he cut his eyes was chilling. Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn. Aaron Paul as Jesse Pinkman. Keanu Reeves John Wick. Morgan Freeman in The Shawshank Redemption. Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. Christian Bale in American Psycho. Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. John Malkovich in Being John Malkovich. I can't imagine anybody else bringing that certain ineffable something into the role of John Malkovich that John Malkovich did. Christopher Reeve as Superman. R. Lear May as Drill Sergeant Hartman in Full Metal Jacket. Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm. Michael J. Fox Marty McFly. RDJ Tony Stark. Hugh Jackman is so good at playing Wolverine that he is completely different from the comics short, ugly Logan and still manages to be perfect for the role. Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown. TV. But Bob Odenkirk was born to play Saul Goodman. Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh. Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance in The Shining. Perfect casting. Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool for sure. I can't imagine another soul playing that character. I am sorry, this is so obvious I deserve to be DB for it, but I am surprised nobody yet has mentioned this one. Samuel L. Jackson as Jules Winfield. Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber. James Earl Jones as Darth Vader's voice. Tim Curry as Dr. Frank Anforder. Meryl Streep as Miranda Priestley. Morgan Freeman as God. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. Jean Reno in The Professional. I can't imagine another actor in that role. James Earl Jones as Mufasa. Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. Tom Hiddleston for Loki. Heath Ledger as the Joker. Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. Michael Richards as Kramer. That man played that role with such perfection I couldn't imagine anyone else for it. Tom Berenger as Sergeant Barnes in Platoon. George C. Scott as Patton. Tilda Swinton as the White Witch in Narnia. Bruce Campbell Army of Darkness. Not a film, but nobody else could be Sideshow Bob but Kelsey Grammer. Same with Lionel Hutz and Phil Hartman. Judy Garland as Dorothy. She was just so lovely in that role, but it is such a shame how MGM the director treated her. Jack Black School of Rock. Tony Starr as Homelander. Heath Ledger as Joker. Robin Williams as Genie. Hayden as Anakin. James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader. Pedro Pascal, and Mandalorian. Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. Robin Williams as Chris as What Dreams May Come. Excuse me while I go and cry. Rory McCann as Shandor Clegane. Chris Hemsworth for Thor and Tom Hiddleston for Loki. Russell Crowe in Gladiator. I don't know why but can't see anyone else in that role. Embarrassed smiley face. Viggo as Aragorn. Chris Evans as Captain America. Henry Cavill nailed Geralt in The Witcher. Audie Murphy in To Hell and Back. Josh Brolin as young Agent K in Men in Black 3. Could not have chosen better. A perfect job. Gary Oldman Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Muppets Christmas Carol. Michael Caine. You need some serious acting chops to outperform the Muppets. Angela Lansbury in The Mirror Cracked. She actually complained she was miscast in the role as Miss Marple by stating she was too old to play the spinster detective, but she easily knocked it out of the park and fell in love with the role, which inspired her to create Murder, She Wrote. Also, It's a TV series, but Jason Watkins in the TV series McDonald and Dodds. You can easily see him as just some bumbling fool who is easily browbeaten by more assertive personalities, but has a keen mind that means he can easily solve complex mysteries and crimes in his job as a police inspector. David Tennant as the Doctor. Alan Rickman as Snape. Hugo Weaving Agent Smith. Okay, so this is regarding TV, but it was the first thing I thought of. Rue McClanahan as Blanche Devereaux and Betty White as Rose Nealand in The Golden Girls. I mean, Estelle and Bea were also cast perfectly, but ever since I found out Betty was originally going to play Blanche and Rue was originally going to play Rose, I'm glad it worked out the other way. Michael Clark Duncan as John Coffey in The Green Mile. Al Pacino in The Godfather, 1, 2, 3, although 3 should have been better. Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura. Tom Hanks Forrest Gump. It isn't Greta Tale as Orb Obias. It's TV, but no one could play Tommy Shelby like Cillian Murphy did. Louise Fletcher as Kywin on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street. Him, Tobey Maguire and Jonah Hill were doing some crazy stuff together in their early life, quite reminiscent of the characters in Scorsese's movie. Michael Cera as Scott Pilgrim. He perfectly captures the awkward energy. J.K. Simmons as Jonah Jameson. Clark Gable as Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind 1939. Andy Serkis as Gollum in LOTR. Sean Astin Samwise Gamgee. First thought was Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Gary Oldman as Dracula. Heath Ledger as the Joker. Angelina Jolie as Maleficent. Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Christian Bale as Batman. Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. Black Panther. Sad face. RDJ as Tony Stark. Brandon Lee when he did The Crow. Nailed that template. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Mr. Bean as Mr. Bean Perfection. Julia Roberts in the movie Erin Brockovich. The Beatles in A Hard Day's Night. Batman 2. Danny DeVito. The Penguin. Ick. Carl Urban in Dredd. Sir Christopher Lee in every movie he was in. While the movies were not my all-time favorites, I think Cate Blanchett was absolutely perfect as Elizabeth I. Ben Affleck. Gone Girl. Claude Rains Casablanca. Dave Bautista. I could not think of anyone as a better Drax Guardians of the Galaxy. You know the answer to this question for like all time is Christoph Waltz as Hans Landa in Inglourious Basterds. Tim Curry as Frankenfurter. No one comes close to his performance. Alan Rickman as Snape. Charlie Cox Matt Murdock Daredevil. Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Steve Carell as Michael Scott. Robin Williams for Good Will Hunting. Pacino aka Tony Montana. Christian Slater as JD in Heathers. Anthony Starr as Homelander. Billy Bob Thornton in Sling Blade. Don't know if it's buried, but Heath Ledger as the Joker. Leonardo DiCaprio in The Great Gatsby. No one else could have done it better. Willem Dafoe for Green Goblin. Renee Zellweger. Bridget Jones. Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter. I know it's obvious, but Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. And White Mitsuna Ryojin Hobo Umbrella. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren in the Conjuring franchise. Daniel Day-Lewis as Daniel Plainview in There Will Be Blood. Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow is perfect. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. Sir Christopher Lee as Saruman. No one has said Matthew Lillard as Shaggy in Scooby-Doo. It is so perfect. He nails every bit, the look, voice, personality, facial expressions, and even the way I imagine Shaggy's posture. David Harbour as Jim Hopper. Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln There Will Be Blood. Gangs of New York. Last of the Mohicans. The unbearable lightness of being the crucible in the name of the Father et al. Emma Watson as Hermione Granger. Ian McKellen Gandalf. Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes in Misery. Damn, the book freaked me out, and her as Annie sold it. Edit word. Hugh Laurie as Dr. House. Vincent D'Onofrio as Goran in Law and Order. C. Neil Patrick Harris as Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother. Crispin Glover in Charlie's Angels 1-2. Randy Quaid as Cousin Eddie. Seriously, can you see anyone else in that role? Tom Hanks as Fred Rogers. Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther. Jeff Bridges in The Big Lebowski. I can't imagine a better Ash than Bruce Campbell. Harrison Ford Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark. Tom Hanks Forrest Gump. Jeff Bridges as the Dude. Philip Seymour Hoffman as Lester Bangs in Almost Famous. Gary Oldman in Like Everything. Same with Alan Rickman. Bryan Cranston as Walter White was amazing multi-layered character. Clapping, every, clapping, cast, clapping, member, clapping, of, clapping, the, clapping, original, clapping, Ghostbusters.